Let's get going. Let's get going. Let's go. Let's get going. Let's get going. Let's go going. I cannot talk right now, but let us get going. 3 signs that you're neurodivergent. I had to stem first so that I could talk. And apparently I didn't stem all the way because my words are still wording. It's taking a while for me to get my words out. But we're going to be talking about 3 signs that you're neurodivergent. We're streaming live now on TikTok, Twitch, LinkedIn, YouTube, both my YouTube channels. Let's talk about it. 3 signs that you're neurodivergent. A couple of people were asking me questions earlier on TikTok when I was stemming, and I saw the numbers go up and then go down. So people probably saw me dancing and thought that I wasn't answering questions or I wasn't being engaged, but I had to stem. I got to stem before I do anything, because stemming is something that neurodivergent people do to regulate ourselves. So don't mind me if I stem, all right? Don't mind me if I do a little dance here and there. A little, I'm not done stemming actually. A little. A little stem break, Knuckle cracking could count as stemming. It could. Austin, how are you? Ashley, Meg, how are y'all? We're live here from Juneau, Alaska. Warrior Brit, I love you as well. Thank you so much. We're live here from Juneau, Alaska. We got 2 Georgia boys in the house, me and Chandler on the team. A little stem break. Both of us are neurodivergent. We both have ADHD, and we figure out ways to make things work. 3 signs that you're neurodivergent. Go ahead, use the comment section to let me know where you're checking in from, and let's get acquainted with each other. Somebody on TikTok says, is that why I break out into song and hate silence? That sounds very neurodivergent. If you break out into songs, like if somebody says, man, I got stuck on the highway, and then you go, life is a highway, I want to ride it. Oh, not. Yeah, that's neurodivergent. If you're talking movie quotes, those are all neurodivergent things. We have Atlanta in the house, Oklahoma, Maryland, Rhode Island, Alabama, Houston, Louisiana on TikTok. On Facebook, we have love from Maine, Ohio, Arkansas, Ohio, Pennsylvania in the house. Tanner's watching. Tanner's with his little brothers watching Adventure Time. I appreciate your attention. Kansas in the house. Somebody's cousin diagnosed them as being neurodivergent. We got New York City in the house, Arizona in the house, New Jersey, Illinois. Okay. All right, let's talk about it. 3 signs that you're neurodivergent. Before we talk about the 3 signs, let's talk about what neurodivergent means, right? So let's break up the term. Neuro, what does neuro mean? Neuro means brain, right? Brain. So when you think of neuro, think of brain. Neurobrain. When you think of divergent, different. Divergent means that if this is like expected right here, divergent is this way. We're going to go left, we're going to go right. Warrior Brit, anytime. So neurodivergent just really means a different brain. So if we take that term literally, you could say that somebody who has bipolar disorder is neurodivergent. You can say that somebody who has schizophrenia is neurodivergent, but when you hear the term neurodivergent, that's not what people are referring to. When people say neurodivergent, they are more than likely talking about ADHD and autism. That's what they're talking about when you hear the word or the term neurodivergent, right? And somebody's talking about ODD. That's not within the context of neurodivergence. We have ADHD, we have autism, we have dyslexia, dyscalculia. Those are like the main 4, but I see neurodivergence as, you could really say, any mental health condition. But the way that we talk about it today, we're specifically more than likely talking about ADHD and autism. So what are the signs that you are neurodivergent? Before I give you all the 3 signs that you may be neurodivergent, I think it's important for y'all to know that if you start a live stream and your laptop is about to die, the moment that you start the live stream, there's a good chance that you're neurodivergent. So let me go get my neurodivergent butt up and get my laptop charger so that way this stream does not die. All right. So let me go get my laptop charger. I am neurodivergent, but I'm also somewhat prepared. Actually, I'm not. The charger just happened to be right here. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Since I laid my burdens down. Glory, glory. See? I say something and I break out into a song. All that's neurodivergent. All that's neurodivergent. So I came up with a list. Let me give y'all my list. Number 1. Oh, Chan, I think I can hear you. You good, twin? You good, twin? All right. So number one. Signs that you may be neurodivergent. Finishing the song. I'm DNP, Doctor of Nursing Practice. You hate small talk and you like key details. All right. There are some people out there who like small talk. Believe it or not, there are some people out there who like small talk. These are your neurotypicals, right? Your neurotypicals, people who enjoy small talk. And if we're being honest, I don't think anybody truly enjoys small talk. It's just that if you're neurodivergent, you're going to hate it a lot more than your average person. And somebody on TikTok says, as an NP, don't you have to learn to do small talk? Yeah, so here's the thing. When you're neurodivergent, you're good at masking because you want to have friends, you want to date, you want to be liked by people. So we know how to mask in order to have small talk. All right. And Chanel on TikTok says that small talk is pretentious. And that's true. In the beginning, you may have to do a little bit of small talk, and that's okay. Right? A little bit of small talk. So let's say I'm talking to I have a brand new patient who's coming in for ADHD assessment and they're a little scared, or you can tell that they're kind of tense. If I know that this patient is from Kansas City, we'll talk about the Chiefs. We'll talk about Jack Stack barbecue. We'll talk about a couple of different things, and then we'll get to why you're in the office today. Because you have ADHD, you need an assessment. Cool, so on and so forth. But a little bit of small talk, the average person, we know how to do this. The difference is when you're neurodivergent, you're going to want to break away from the small talk quicker than your average person. So you're engaging in small talk because that's just how we do things. But inside, you have this visceral feeling where you're like, oh my goodness, I'm tired of talking about the weather, but I'm going to keep talking about the weather because I don't know if I can talk about my trauma and what I actually want to talk about. And this is why I feel like if you are neurodivergent and you have an instant connection with somebody, there's a good chance that that person is also neurodivergent as well. So when I make one of my jokes that people seem to like at the comedy club is when I talk about dating autistic women and why I like dating autistic women. I'm not saying that as some sort of a weird fetish. I'm saying that because when I'm dating somebody and they say that they're going to do something and they do it, it blows my mind. Autistic women are very literal. That's my old lady. She said, I'm going to take you to the glaciers. And guess what? The very next day she took me to the glaciers. I thought the glaciers had melted. Apparently the glaciers are still active, but she said, I want to show you my city. I want to show you Juneau, Alaska. I want to take you to the glaciers. I said, all right, I'm down. I'm free tomorrow. Can we go to the glaciers? Guess what, guys? We actually went to the glaciers. Do you know how difficult that is for somebody to say that they're going to do something and then actually do it? Small talk is also just empty promises, right? You're talking to somebody and they're like, "Oh, okay, yeah, hey, yeah. I'll take you out to a restaurant, or yeah, we'll go do that. Yeah, we'll hang out." When people tell you that they're gonna hang out with you, do you actually know whether they want to hang out with you or if they're just saying that because it sounds nice? It's very difficult for neurotypical people to be direct. So instead of them saying, hey, like I'm tired. Like I'm about to go to bed, so I'll catch you later. An autistic lady would let you know. She'd say, hey, I'm tired. I'll catch you later. A neurotypical person would say, um, hey, so what you about to do? What you about to get yourself into? Like, what you gonna do? Just tell me that you want me to leave your house. Cause now I have to like just tell me that you're tired and you want me to leave your house. Cause I'll just leave your house. Right? But neurotypical people are accustomed to the small talk and like it's a thing. It's a thing. And we should all have basic skills and know how to do small talk when we have to, but we don't have to enjoy small talk at all. And if somebody is talking to you about their weekend and you could care less and you say, hey, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I don't care what you did this past weekend. You're a rude person, and people don't like that. And you won't have any friends. You won't have any friends. Chanel says, my spouse is on the spectrum. His masking is top tier. I tell him often I need to learn that skill. Yes, if you're neurodivergent, your masking skills are very good. This is why you have a lot of people who are in the creative arts who are neurodivergent. A lot of actors, creatives, comedians. I think a big part of why I do comedy is because you have like on stage, if I say something and I'm being honest, people will laugh. But if I say it in real life, I'm a bad person. I'm a very bad person. you know, Julia on TikTok says, I have no filter. And guys, I do want to say this before I get to the second sign that you're neurodivergent. I have to say this. Neurodivergence is not an excuse for us to be rude. We do have to have tact, right? So just because we have ADHD or just because we're autistic, it doesn't mean that we can be rude to people and not think about how our actions affect other people. Because that's the other side of things where people will say, well, I'm neurodivergent, so you have to listen to me. You have to accommodate my needs. No, we still owe everybody basic respect, and we should think about how our actions affect other people. So I just want to put that out there. I just want to put that out there. Oh, let me see what my old lady said. Um, sure, I can do that. Just let me know. Just let me know. Just let me know, sweetheart. Just let me know, sweetheart. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just on live stream. I'm on the live stream. All right. Speaking of masking, the second sign that you may be neurodivergent, you don't fit in unless you mask. You don't fit in unless you mask. So think about how you actually are on default settings, like your brain on factory settings. The way you are, like when you're home and nobody's watching you, like your true authentic self. How often are you accepted for who you are, just as you are? Ask yourself that question. And you may have to sit there and really think about it. Like when you're at home and you're laughing and nobody's watching, or you're around a close group of people that really care about you and you can be yourself without fear of judgment. That version of you, how often is that version of you accepted? And if you're neurodivergent, you realize early on that when you did something that was weird or something that was actually congruent with who you were as a person, people shut you down. People didn't want to see that side of you, but that was actually who you were. So what you did is you learned how to create another version of yourself. You learn how to create another version of yourself that could be accepted by other people. And the worst thing about this is that you actually succeed if you really work at this. So if you mask and you say other people's cadences and you look at what people are interested in and you look at what's relatable or what's trending, and yes, masking does take a lot of energy. So someone on TikTok said that it takes a lot of energy. And it looks like Chris Hall on TikTok, on Facebook, really, she's picking up what I'm putting down. If your original self on factory settings is not accepted unless you alter yourself in a certain way, that's a good chance that you may be neurodivergent. And this is where a lot of the depression comes from with neurodivergence. The neurodivergence the neurodivergent associated depression, or the depression that is often associated with neurodivergence. How am I put my words together today? That type of depression is not the kind that can be solved by taking Zoloft or Paxil or Prozac. That depression is the one that's solved by you actually being yourself, or putting out versions of yourself into the world and being accepted for who you are. But a lot of the times is because you're in the wrong environment. You're not in an environment where you feel comfortable enough to be yourself. So you gotta play those song and dance, and you gotta, like you gotta do what everybody else is doing. And because you want to have friends, you want to get invited to prom, you want to date. And the worst thing about masking is that sometimes it works. That's really the worst thing. Sometimes you mask and it actually works. Initially, you're very happy because, like, you get excited, like, okay, cool, cool, cool. Like, people are my friends now. Like, I'm having all these people who want to, hang out with me, and I have these dating options. Like, life is cool now. People are asking me to come over to their house. I got coworkers who want to hang out with me after we get off. Like, I've never been accepted this much before in my life. But then deep down, it actually hurts because you know that you're not putting your actual self out there. You know that you've developed a curated version of yourself and you're putting it out there, and that's not who you really are. And that's very painful. That's very painful. And also sometimes you create a curated version of yourself and it doesn't work. And that's frustrating too, because how are you going to tell me that I developed a fake personality to get you to like me, and I spent time, energy, and effort to create this fake personality, and on top of that, you don't actually like me? What's the point? I created a fake personality so that way you can like me, and you still don't like me. What the hell? So what was the point? This is so painful. It'll make you cry. What's the whole point of creating this fake personality if you still don't like me? And sometimes you have to go through this, and then this keeps happening, right? You've hit a wall where you just can't go like forward anymore. You're just tired of having to fake the funk. And at some point, then that's when you finally tell yourself, you're like, all right, okay, I'm done with this. I'm done with this. I can no longer live like this. I don't care about what people think about me. And the moment that you start to do that, that's when life really begins. Because now you can actually be free and you can be as authentically you as possible. Someone said, what the hell is right? What the hell is right? And Jeff on TikTok says, that's why I'm mentally exhausted all the time from masking. Someone says, make a shirt, stop faking the funk. I may have to make a shirt that says, stop faking the funk. Facts. And someone says, be free, little birdie. Chris likes that. Yeah, fake the funk. I like that. And Linda on Facebook says, yeah, in there, I've learned to love myself. Sometimes the way that you learn to love yourself is by burning out. Oh, yeah. That bread's good. And speaking of burnout, that is my third sign that you may be neurodivergent. And this looks a lot like depression, but it's different. Burnout is different from depression. All right, number 3, you struggle with burnout often. All right, you struggle with burnout often. Now you may ask, oh, somebody's asking what's the difference between burnout and depression. Okay, I'll explain. So burnout is when you have all of the depressive symptoms. You may have lost interest in things that you used to enjoy doing. You're apathetic, you're low on energy, you're isolating, you're not replying back to people's text messages. Like, you're doing your own thing because you're just tired, and you're tired of being tired. But with burnout, this exhaustion is coming from, it's in response to your external environment. Burnout is coming from your system being bad. Your system is bad. You're in an area where you are exhausted because you're not set up to win. You're doing a lot of masking. You're doing a lot of small talk. You're putting out a version of yourself that's not actually who you are, but you're doing this in order to keep your relationship. You're doing this in order to keep your friendships. You're doing this in order to keep your job. Your coworkers know a certain side of you. So if you switch up and you go to work and you forget to put your mask on, people are going to be off put. Like, oh, like, yo, like, who did we hire? And that's just like who you actually are, but they're not used to that version of you. So burnout comes from you having a bad system. Your system is not congruent with who you are and where you're at. And depression can happen independent of all of these things. You can have a low mood, apathy, loss of interest. You can be isolated. You can have thoughts of not wanting to be here anymore. All those things. You can have all those depressive symptoms, and it can be independent of how you're living. You could be living in a place where, a very safe neighborhood. You could be in a great relationship. You could not be worried about finances or health or the other things that we worry about, and you could still be depressed. So that's depression. But burnout comes from the lack of a good system. And the reason why we don't have a good system a lot of times is because when you're neurodivergent, right? When you have ADHD, autism, one of these conditions, you will need some level of external support in order to thrive. And before you thrive, you got to survive first and foremost. So you need external support to make sure that you survive, number one, and then thrive, number two. So when you don't have the right external support, you're going to tap out. You will tap out. And if you haven't tapped out yet, it's just a matter of time before you tap out and you reach that point of exhaustion. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. And Valerie, hey, I appreciate y'all. The people who find this stream, find this stream. Those of y'all who are here, y'all were meant to be here. So Kat is talking about executive dysfunction, executive functioning skills. When you're neurodivergent, you're going to struggle with executive dysfunction. You're going to struggle with analysis paralysis. It's tough for you to make decisions because you're chronically overwhelmed. Your brain is always working. Our brains are not supposed to be working all the time. You got to have 7 to 8 hours where you sleep. Then you should have some time in the middle of the day where you can catch your breath and meditate. But if you are neurodivergent, like your cortisol levels are high, you're always stressed. And you're always stressed because you're effective, but you're not efficient. So you're doing a lot of things, but you're not doing the right thing at the right time. In the real world, the world that we live in, if you don't do the right thing at the right time, you're going to lose. So if you do the right thing, but at the wrong time, and it wasn't a priority thing, we're losing. We have to do the right thing at the right time. And when you're constantly tired, it's going to be difficult for you to prioritize. So you don't know what you should do first. We all have a window, like we all have like a 2 or 3 hour window in the day where we're the most sharp, like where we are the sharpest. During this window, this is where we should do our hardest tasks. For me, this is after I work out. This is when I should come back and send emails and do whatever I have to do what I don't want to do because now I have the energy to do it. But when you're neurodivergent and you have a hard time prioritizing, you're constantly stressed. You have a to-do list that never ends. Think about how frustrating that is. Imagine if you had a to-do list of 10 things, and every time you crossed out one thing, another thing popped up on that list. Wouldn't you burn out at some point? And sometimes you know that the burnout's coming, and you welcome it when it comes, but you think to yourself, all right, cool. I know I'm going to burn out soon, but for right now, I'm going to enjoy life. The burnout's coming, and I can't do anything about it. But for right now, I'm going to enjoy life. For right now, I'm going to enjoy life. And Heather's saying every day after work. Yeah, it's because your system is not good. This is why we're burning out. Our system is not good. And the reason, one of the biggest reasons why we cannot fix our system is because of shame. We got to talk about that. June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. And there's a lot of men out there who have a hard time asking for help, myself included. But when you have a lot of shame and you have a lot of guilt, it prevents you from working on your issues and getting to the point where you can put together a system for yourself. Because like I said, when you're neurodivergent, you're going to have a system. If you don't have money to pay for a housekeeper, We have to go back to the olden days when we could barter. Back in the days when there was no money, you would barter. Like, hey, I got a goat. I'll give you a goat. You give me some coal. I give you some coal. You give me some powder for the guns or whatever. So if you're good at a certain thing, you can help out a friend of yours. For example, if you have two friends, if there's two friends who have ADHD, it can be hard for them to clean their individual rooms. But if they went to the other person's room, they could clean the other person's room better than they can clean their own room, right? So you got to barter. Hey, I'm good at copywriting. I'll do this for you. Can you help me out with this? A community-based type of environment. It's difficult to do that in the United States of America and actually anywhere in the world when, capitalism, the hustle and bustle, it's tough to have a community. I feel like online we have a, Leroy says, he got the weed. Leroy, I'm weak. That's not what I'm talking about. But hey, I mean, if that's, that could be what helps you. It could be what helps you out. But we need this community-based system where, hey, I scratch your back, you scratch mine. Because look, we need some type of external support. And it's the shame and the guilt that prevents us from doing this. And it took me a long time, and I'm still, struggling to realize that the fact that I need help. Like I got, a team of assistants, 5, 6, 7 people. I think we hired one more person to help me out, and I still get to places late. I still don't do things the way that I want to do them. It's hard. Rakia, how are you doing? Rakia is one of my old nursing students from Augusta University. How are you? And yes, I have my own practice working on the website right now. Working on the website. And once the website is all good to go, I'll put out the information. We'll do ADHD coaching for anybody around the world. And then we're taking on patients in our ADHD clinic in the states of Washington, Alaska, and Arizona. Speaking of websites, like, hey, I'll be real with you. I paid somebody last year $3,000 to make a website for me. And the dude bamboozled me. He made a great looking website, but the website wasn't functional. I should have asked somebody who's good at doing websites, hey, can you look at this for me? Instead of me being prideful, like, man, I can make my own damn website. I'll just pick somebody off of Fiverr and they'll make a website for me. Hey, look, it happens. You pay the price of ignorance. These things are going to happen to you. When you're neurodivergent, people will look to play you. They'll look to play you. Stephanie on TikTok, on Facebook says, websites are nothing unless they're attached. Correct. You have to be comfortable receiving external support. And like I said, it's the guilt and the shame that prevents people from taking on external support, right? And what is guilt? Guilt is not liking what you've done. And guilt over time leads into shame. Shame is not liking who you are. And when you don't like who you are, it's very difficult to get help and to put a system in place. Shame. And if you don't like who you are and somebody's trying to help you out, you will inadvertently punish that person because you don't like who you are. So if somebody likes you, but you don't like who you are, then them liking you is going to be kind of like a mind fuck for you because you're like, yo, like, why do you like me? I don't even like me. So why do you like me? Right? The shame and the guilt, these are the things that prevent us from putting a system in place. This is key. And I have somebody who's making the website now. So the website will be done in like a week or two, and then we'll continue to take patients and do our thing. So you learn through trial and error, and you have to, allow yourself to, not feel bad for making mistakes. Mistakes are a part of life. If anything, you want to fail faster. But when you are neurodivergent and you struggle with rejection, which is the majority of neurodivergent people, it's going to be hard for you to, move forward in life because rejection feels so difficult for you. Rejection takes you back to your childhood when, you were rejected by the people who were supposed to be looking out after you. So anytime you feel rejection as an adult, you quickly go into defense. That's why demand avoidance is a thing with neurodivergent individuals. And I mean, I got so many signs that you're neurodivergent. Like, I got so many signs. Doom Room says, how long do you go live? We go live every day, 6 o'clock California time, 9 o'clock New York time. On TikTok, someone says, shame is real. My wife and I both suffer from it and better understands what other. I couldn't quite get that comment, but shame is a big thing. Shame is a big thing. Shame is a big thing. And Sarah saying, how are you, man? Hey, Sarah, I'm happy I'm speaking to y'all. I'm happy I'm speaking to y'all. And do room. So actually, let me make a point right here. So yes, this live stream is supposed to be daily, and it's supposed to happen every day at 9 o'clock New York time. You are correct. It's 11 o'clock in New York right now. So I am late. And once again, this is where you have to use your coping skills, and you gotta, make it okay for yourself to be late, but then just do better. Because I'm telling y'all, 9 o'clock Eastern time every day, but it's 11 o'clock. It's 11:09 in New York right now, 1 o'clock in Australia. And I have an assistant here with me from Atlanta, Georgia, came all the way out to the West Coast. And he's staying on me. Hey, Codis, it's time to go live. It's time to go live. We gotta do this. We got it. And I'm still late. It happens sometimes. And when you struggle with neurodivergence, you should give yourself time in between tasks to get things done. Because that's another thing with neurodivergent people. It takes us a longer time as compared to neurotypicals to go from one task to the next. So I'll be easy on myself, but I'm not gonna let myself get out of it. So I said, all right, okay, hey, today was a busy day, but we'll do better tomorrow. And then tomorrow we'll just do better. There's no trying. There's just doing. You either fail or you succeed, but there's no trying. Because if you say try, it means that like you're being like passive about it. No, we're doing it. We're either doing it successfully or unsuccessfully. And if we lose, but we know why we lost, then that's probably better than winning. Because if you win and you don't know why you won, I'd rather lose and know why I lost. For pattern recognition. All right, let's do a quick water break. We're at the 30-minute mark. And after the 30-minute mark is when I accept, I just answer Q&A. So somebody dropped the magic word in the chat. And let's go ahead and get the water break in. I'm drinking water. I really prefer sparkling water, but whatever y'all are sipping on tonight, whether y'all in Australia, New York City, whatever y'all sipping on tonight, let's get this water break in or this beverage break in. All right. So Misty on Facebook dropped the magic word. The magic word is cheers. Now let's get this water in. If this is a live stream full of neurodivergence, we are probably underhydrated, and we probably didn't drink water today, and we were drinking Diet Pepsi and pop and whatever we were drinking, Red Bulls. Big cheers, y'all. What's up, Alexis? A little stem break, get it out. Stretch your neck. A lot of us neurodivergent are hella flexible and hypermobile. All right. Let's get to these questions. Can you discuss how to help someone with bipolar psychosis but is refusing proper treatment? All right, so here's the thing. If somebody has bipolar disorder and they're experiencing psychosis, that means that they are clearly in a manic episode. All right. If you have bipolar disorder and you're experiencing psychosis, you are clearly in a manic episode. Meaning it can be very dangerous, but people have the right to do what they want to do, and people have rights that you cannot take away. If somebody is a danger to themselves or other people, then you can take legal action depending on the state. I know it's 1013 in Georgia. I know it's temporary detention order in Virginia. It's Baker Act in Florida. It's 5150 in California. So you can take out legal action and see if you can get that person admitted to a psychiatric hospital. If they don't meet the criteria for involuntary admission, then it's best to Gently remind them and lead by example. If you tend to take medications, you can talk about yourself and say, hey, I take these meds. If you take your meds, it can be helpful, for your mental health. So you want to do your best to lead with love and not judgment. Question here. It's hard being in a relationship with a neurodivergent person. I'm always wrong. How do I maneuver? Ooh, great question right here from I go eat on my feet on TikTok. It's hard being in a relationship with a neurodivergent person. I'm always wrong. How do I maneuver? Okay. So here's the thing. Like I said earlier in the live stream, if you are neurodivergent, it's not an excuse to not be accountable. We all have to be accountable, right? So the person that you're dating who's neurodivergent, their diagnosis, whether it's ADHD or autism, whatever the case may be, their diagnosis is just an explanation for the behaviors that they exhibit. It's an explanation, but it's not an excuse. So if you are dealing with a person who is autistic, I'm just making it up, for example purposes, you're dating somebody who's autistic and they struggle with demand avoidance. So you have to word things in a certain way. And if you don't say things in a certain way, they're going to go into defensive and it's going to lead to an argument. It's going to lead to a fight. And now your date night has been ruined. If this is the case, then you want to understand the pathology. This person is going on the defense because they're autistic. And when you're autistic, you have to rely on other people for external support. So this means that you feel helpless the majority of the time, and you are always fighting for autonomy. So when you understand where that person is coming from, the person is scared, and they're used to not having options. And that's why y'all are clashing. So if y'all can diagnose and clock what's going on, you can say, hey, it's not me versus you. This is you and I versus demand avoidance. You're fighting for autonomy, and I'm fighting for respect. So if we know what's going on, we can slow down, we can catch our breath, and we can realize that we don't hate each other, but we have an issue at hand that we have to solve. And this type of thing, it breaks up relationships, it breaks up marriages, it breaks up business partnerships because people don't understand where the other person's coming from. So demand avoidance is a real thing. It's a real thing. So understand that it's not that person trying to attack you, and y'all have different conflict resolution styles is key. This is one of the main things that I struggle with. I really struggle with this in relationships. It's really hard. So I have to realize that I'm human. I'm Dr. Kocher, but I'm also human. I have to figure out, the best ways for me to, resolve conflict where I feel respected, but the other person also feels autonomous. And Anthony says you can have a real conversation you can't have a legitimate conversation where you're stressed. And Liz says, I've seen videos where girls use it to be plain rude. So people can use demand avoidance, to be rude and, to avoid accountability. And I know the running joke online is that women don't take accountability for anything. That's the running joke. And that is the case a lot of times, but it's not always the truth. And it's not just a women thing. Like it's somebody who's fighting for their autonomy. It goes much deeper than just gender. But when people avoid accountability, we have to figure out why. Like, why is this person avoiding accountability? What's going on there? And normally you realize that that person has poor conflict resolution skills, and they weren't given options as a kid. They pass on that trauma to their kids, and their kids pass down to, their kids. And then the world keeps on spinning until somebody chooses to, stand up to the generational trauma. Someone says, can you explain demand avoidance, please? All right, okay. So I can explain demand avoidance. Demand avoidance is, let me give you an example. Demand avoidance is me telling my girlfriend, hey, babe, can you take the trash out? I'm on live stream right now, so I can't get the trash out. And if you don't get the trash out in the next 10 to 15 minutes, we're going to miss trash day, right? So I tell my girlfriend that. And my girlfriend, who is autistic and struggling with demand avoidance and struggling with autonomy, may be upset because the way I said it made her feel like she didn't have an option, right? the way that you say things is important. So if I say, "Hey, babe, get the trash out. The the car is coming soon. The big trash, truck is coming. Get the trash out real quick. Help me out." I could be saying that because I'm in a hurry, and I'm saying, "Hey, like, hurry up! Like, we gotta get going." And she sees it as, "Oh, heck no! You mean to tell me I have to get the trash out? So if I don't get the trash out, like, what's gonna happen? Like, I have to get the trash out?" And that's not what it is. I'm asking you, can you help me out? I'm on live stream right now. We're gonna miss trash day, and then the trash is gonna sit here and it's gonna stink all week. Or I'm gonna have to call the trash guy in LA. I gotta call this trash guy who comes when you don't take your trash out in time, and I gotta pay an extra $127 to get the trash out when you could have just gotten the trash out. So now she's pissed off at me because I said something that made her feel like she didn't have any autonomy. And now I'm pissed off at her because I got to pay $120 because you didn't get the trash out. I'm on live stream. I can't be in two places at once. I just need you to take the trash out. The trash is right here. And the trash is smelling. And I'm pissed off because I got to pay $120 because you didn't get the trash out. But I love you very much. And I didn't mean to be rude to you, but I need the trash to be out because I'm on live stream. You got to help out your boy. And at the same time, she's saying, you got to talk to me in a certain way. Demand avoidance. So I'm like, hey, why do I? And until we know that this is demand avoidance, you're going to continue to argue with your partner and things are not going to get better. Because I'm going to be upset that I wasn't respected. And for us as guys, if there's one thing that guys like more than sex, if there's one thing that guys like more than sex, is respect. When it comes to sex, as guys, like, we'll drop our drawers at any time. Oh, I can get off a live stream. I got 5 minutes. I got 2 minutes. But when our respect is threatened, it's like, oh, so you don't respect me. I asked you to do a simple thing. Now I'm out of $120 because you couldn't get the trash out. And then you're going to bug me and say, we got to go on a date night. We got to go. That $120 that I spent calling the next trash guy to come, we could have used that for date night, but you didn't get the trash out. So now it's a lose-lose, right? And that's, like, I don't hate my girlfriend and she doesn't hate or doesn't believe in disrespecting me, but we're saying the same thing, but we're saying it in different ways, right? So if we can rephrase things and take a step back and look at the situation and realize that the autistic person who is struggling with demand avoidance, they are fighting for their autonomy. And you realize that I'm fighting for my respect. We can take a step back and say, okay, all right, sounds good. The next time I'm in a high pressure situation and we have to get going really quickly, how would you like for me to ask you to do things? And the example I give is with parents and kids, right? For parents call the shots. Like I come from Ghana, West Africa. So, when you come, when you have foreign parents, like, the kids have no rights. The parents are always right and kids are always wrong. And if you have foreign parents like me, you know how frustrating this is. Because sometimes you're right as a kid, but because you're a kid, you're always wrong, right? I do believe that parents call the shots and kids have to follow suit. But parents should also respect the kids. When it comes to brushing your teeth, and do me right, immigrant parents don't play. Immigrant parents don't play. When it comes to brushing your teeth, right? You have to brush your teeth. If kids don't brush your teeth, you're going to get periodontal disease. You're going to get cavities. It's not going to be good for you. But if you're struggling to brush your teeth because of demand avoidance or you're tired or whatever the case may be, some nights you don't want to brush your teeth. As adults, sometimes we don't brush our teeth at night. I'm supposed to wear retainers. I've had to wear retainers 3 times. I wasted a lot of money because I just can't put the retainers in my mouth and I lose them and I have to do it all over again. But we force kids, hey, you got to brush your teeth tonight. So instead of telling your child, hey, John, Samantha, Tyler, Rebecca, you have to brush your teeth. You say, oh, Rebecca, I grabbed 2 new toothbrushes. One is red, one is purple. Which one do you want? And instead of Rebecca being fixated on the fact that she has to brush her teeth, she's like, oh my goodness, you got a purple toothbrush? I can go with red or purple. Then she's like, you know what? I'll go with the purple toothbrush. That's how I'm feeling today. And now she's brushing her teeth and she's doing what you wanted her to do because she was given some type of autonomy. And parents really should be teaching kids this at a young age, because when you're neurodivergent and you weren't given autonomy or options as a kid, you become an adult who doesn't know how to set boundaries. You don't know how to speak up for yourself because you weren't given the chance to fail. So you go out there into the real world and now you're failing in an environment that is unforgiving. And the real world is just whipping you, taxes, rent, bills, people just whipping you. Because as a kid, you were never given the option. You were never given chances to fail. This stuff is key. How can a couple where he's CPTSD and ADD and she's RDHD work better together? Oh, great question. Great question. And before I answer that question, Scarlett, you have to understand, why go live if you don't respond to what people say? Scarlett, I have a lot of comments coming here to my right from Facebook, Instagram. I mean, not Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitch. Then I got 170 people on TikTok, and I got 2 eyes. So it's not personal, Scarlett. I do love you, and I'm trying to get to as many of these questions as possible. So, like, we'll get there as we can, right? We'll get there as we can. All right. How can a couple where he has CPTSD and ADHD, and she has autism and ADHD work better together? All right. So here's the thing with neurodivergent couples, right? If y'all are both neurodivergent, you're going to need some type of external support. But the good news here is the support that the other person may need, you might be able to give that person that support. So if she's autistic and she is good with routines and you have ADHD and you're spontaneous and you're all over the place, she can help you be a bit more disciplined. And then likewise, he can help with spontaneity. That's how it is for, me and my old lady. I'm spontaneous. I like to do things, on the fly. I'm like a Patrick Mahomes. I like to scramble outside the pocket. I like to throw sidearm. Like I like to be free. I like to do my thing. My old lady, she's very particular. She's super anal about getting to places on time. And I'm the type of person, I'll be at the Portland airport and, the flight that we're about to catch, people are boarding. I'm like, hey, I think I got like an extra 5 minutes. I'm about to go see if I can get me another McGriddle from McDonald's. And she's the type to be standing up 15 minutes before we board. So that can lead to a lot of arguments because you are like overly early. And I'm trying to play things close. Like I feel like I can sneak in a snack. I can go to the restroom real quick. I feel like the plane will wait for me. And that's not really the case. But if we can slow down and understand that her need to be early and my desire to cut things close could be a really good combination, because you don't have to show up hella early all the time. And likewise, we shouldn't be cutting it close all the time too, because that's how you miss flights. That's how you get to work late. That's how you get stuck in traffic. So you take the strengths that one person has and you use that to help the other person. So the person who's asking, he has CPTSD and ADHD, and she has ADHD and autism. You use each other's strengths. And also, if she has autism, ADHD, then she probably has CPTSD as well. So she should probably understand, the struggles of somebody who grew up with a lot of childhood trauma. Because if you have autism and ADHD, I mean, I can't say that everybody who has autism and ADHD has CPTSD, but it's the majority. I'm pretty about to guess, I'd say like 80-85%. So if you have ADHD and autism, you probably have some childhood trauma. And the people who don't have CPTSD and they have ADHD and autism, these are probably the kids who were diagnosed early, probably had two parents. They had a lot of, external support. They had the IEP plans, the 504, they had the financial resources. And even then, you still have childhood trauma. As a parent, you just do your best. Your best, your best is good enough. Leilani, what's up? Yeah, Leilani, yeah, I'm not chilling anymore. Like I was trying to be a resident of the streets, but I know, Leilani, it sucks. I asked my old lady, I said, can I have like, 3 other girlfriends? Like, can I be Polynesian? And she's like, nah. I was like, dang it. I was trying to be Polynesian. Leilani is one of the moderators on Facebook, by the way. All right, okay. Moderators are moderating. All right, let me see what some of the folks on TikTok are saying. What are the signs of ADHD? I don't know if it's me or if it's ADHD. Okay, all right. Hey, that's a basic fundamental question, but let's talk about it. Signs of ADHD. ADHD means that you struggle to regulate your mood and you struggle to regulate your attention, right? So if you have a hard time regulating your mood, you're going to have mood swings. You're going to be easily frustrated. It's going to be hard for you to prioritize what you have to do because you're always in the mood. If you're struggling to regulate your attention, you're going to struggle with executive dysfunction, right? So you feel frozen at times, and sometimes you have all this energy and you have the hyper fixation, so you're getting a lot of things done. And other times you're just chronically tired. That's why with ADHD, you feel like your to-do list never ends because you have a hard time regulating your mood and you have a hard time regulating your attention. So there's 3 different types of ADHD. You have the inattentive type, and most women present with the inattentive type, right? This is where you're forgetful, you're daydreaming, you're behind on things, and sometimes you feel like you're clueless. Then you have the hyperactive type of ADHD where you're impulsive, you do things without a lot of premeditation, you're jumpy, you're spontaneous, you interrupt people mid-sentence, you're very impatient. And then you have the combined type of ADHD where you have bits of the hyperactive type and the bits of the inattentive type. And the full process of being diagnosed with ADHD, once again, another fundamental question, but a good one. If you're a child and you're being diagnosed with ADHD, you go into the practitioner, and what they should do is, they'll give scales, questionnaires, and the questionnaires that are given on behalf of the child, you would give, one to the parents, and you would give one to the teacher, because you want to see the impairment in 2 different settings. And if it's an adult, it's fairly straightforward. We do like a full psychiatric evaluation. You get the history, and then you want to make sure that the inattentive symptoms or the hyperactive symptoms of ADHD have been present since that person was a kid. If somebody comes to the office and they're 30 years old and they can't focus and they appear to have all the symptoms of ADHD, but it started when they were 22, and before that they had no issues with focus or inattention or hyperactivity, then that's not ADHD. It's more than likely something else. So it's different based off of whether you're assessing a kid or whether you're assessing an adult. Yeah, a resident of the streets. Resident of the streets, but my girl said I can't be Polynesian, so I hate that. I can't be Polynesian. I tried. A question on TikTok. Somebody said, let me see. We're leaving pork chops in the microwave overnight. That sounds like it's ADHD. There's a good question here about autism. Oh, Linda on Facebook says, should we pursue a diagnosis for autism? Currently seeing someone for this, but what good will it actually do? Oh, this is a good question right here. Oh, this is a great question right here. So Linda's asking, what's the point of an autism diagnosis? I'll tell you what the point of an autism diagnosis is. Receiving a diagnosis for autism is very helpful because you have an explanation for the behaviors that you exhibit. So if you felt like you were a misfit or you never connected with people and you were anxious in social situations and you had a hard time understanding what you feel or knowing how to articulate what you want to say, and life has been hard for you, you've probably been depressed because you felt like you're an outsider. If you receive a diagnosis of autism, then it liberates you from thinking that you're lazy, thinking that you're a misfit, thinking that you're a bad person. You just know that you have autism now. So because you know that you have this condition, you can put yourself in a position to receive the help that you need. And autism is a little bit different from ADHD because when you get diagnosed with ADHD, depending on who you go to, if you go to a practitioner who can prescribe medication, they'll give you an option and say, okay, all right, we got stimulants, we got non-stimulants. Do you want to start medications? Blah, blah, blah. What do you want to do? With autism, it's not really like that. Keep in mind, you can have executive dysfunction from autism. So you could benefit from stimulants, and you could also have autism and ADHD. But just for being autistic, there's no medications that automatically come with that. But you can use medications, for other things in autism. One of the main things that we use meds for in autism is to reduce irritability and frustration and aggression, because autism means that the way that you communicate with the world is different from how a neurotypical person would communicate with the world. So when you communicate differently, it means that you're going to experience the world differently. So if you're autistic and you're living in a world that's neurotypical, it's kind of like a fish that's out of water, right? A fish is going to do good in water, but if you put the fish on land, that fish is going to they're not going to know what to do, right? They're going to need some type of help to get back in the water where they can excel. So if you're autistic and you're struggling to communicate with people, you're going to be frustrated. You're going to get irritable because you don't know how to articulate yourself and people can't understand you. Having autism in a world that is designed for neurotypical people is just very frustrating. So if you get meds prescribed to you for your autism and the meds help to reduce the irritability, it's going to improve your communication skills. So as irritability and frustration goes down, our communication skills go up. So that's what the meds do when it comes to autism. Crazy, right? Fair Anthony, yeah, you're right. A fish looks silly and helpless on land, but in water, I don't know why I'm doing this because this is not what fish do. Y'all get it. I think fish do like something like this. I guess. I don't know what fish do. I gotta go watch some videos to see how fish swim. Like, I don't know. I'm not doing it right, but yeah, y'all help me out. Leilani says, I feel so out of the loop. I found my people at my job. Woo! My boss is an amazing person, and she and I hit the neurodivergent vibe so hard. She has become an amazing friend. She showed up to the ER and only talks for me. And Leilani, you are definitely blessed because not a lot of people are able to find their people at work. But that's the cool thing about being neurodivergent, because you communicate a certain way. So if you're struggling, your boss can show up in socks because y'all have that connection. You don't have to explain yourself as much when you're around other people who speak your language. What are autism meds? That's a good question. So meds that are used to reduce irritability and frustration in autism, we typically use antipsychotics. I think there's only 2 FDA-approved ones, Risperdal and Abilify. Sometimes you could use antidepressants or you can use stimulants, just depending on what's going on. And you don't have to just stick to what's FDA approved. This is why you go to the providers, and the providers figure out like what to do, because just because something is FDA approved doesn't mean that that's what you got to do. But it just helps to give us guidelines. But a good practitioner should know how to use medications off label. And sometimes you got to get crafty depending on what you have in front of you to achieve the desired outcome. Depakote mood stabilizer as well, says. That's something that could be used. Can you have ADHD as a kid without showing signs of hyperactivity or other signs? Yes, that's how most women present. Most women are not really like, jumpy, and like that's how guys present. Most women are. I don't have a lot of hair here, but like they may twirl and stem like this. My hair is getting a little long, but most women may twirl their hair and they'll stem like this. They may daydream. They may zone out mid conversation. It's fairly hard to diagnose ADHD in women if you don't know what you're looking for, or if you think ADHD is hyperactivity. Like ask the average person what they think ADHD is. They're going to describe somebody who's like very jumpy. They never describe the person who's like quiet and they're in their own world and they're just kind of thinking. So that's why women have to wait sometimes decades for an accurate diagnosis. Someone said, "Are you single, doc?" No, I'm not single anymore. I used to belong to the streets, but I had to turn in my card. My girl said I can't be Polynesian anymore. So I used to twirl or chew on my hair as a kid. Yeah. And that's what we should be looking for. We should be looking for those subtle signs of ADHD in women. If you're chewing on your hair, you're twirling, or if you're in your own world. And it's hard to you have to be looking for this to catch it. How do you get tested for autism as an adult? Quite difficult. I think every psychiatric evaluation should come with autism screening. It's not that way though, because if you go to the psychiatric hospital, their main priority is to keep you alive. Let's just keep it a buck. At the psych hospital, they're not trying to diagnose you with autism. They're just trying to keep you alive, and then pass it off to the outpatient provider. And an outpatient, they're not trying to screen you for autism because they're just not looking for that. I don't know why, but they're not looking for that. So you kind of have to go on your own journey where you go on TikTok and Facebook and you look at these videos and you're like, I think I'm autistic. And then you look for a specific person who is, comfortable with diagnosing autism. But I think that this issue is also on like the providers, and like we should screen every single person for autism, at least at a minimum. But like Farrah Anthony is saying, yes, you have to be your own advocate. I'm just going to keep it a buck with y'all. You have to be your own advocate in 2025. Maybe in 2035 it'll be different, but right now you have to be your own advocate. Yeah. And Missy, it doesn't mean anything if you tore your hair. It just means that you could be stemming. That could be a form of stemming for you, twirling your hair. It could be a sign that you're not engaged, that you're distracted, you're in your own world. If they screened it, it might keep. Oh yeah. But I mean, at least for me, like there are different autism screening tools where you can screen in or screen out somebody. And if you're screening for autism and it appears as if that person, a good chance that they're autistic, then okay, guess what? You can refer them for a legitimate autism assessment. Or if you do that yourself, bring it back in 2 weeks or a month and then do an autism assessment. But at a minimum, we should be screening for it. And every single individual, I want to say that, well, my girl wants some yogurt. Okay, I gotta get her some yogurt. All right, everybody who has ADHD should be screened for autism. I mean, that's probably a Kojo belief, but every single individual who has ADHD should be screened for autism. I didn't say tested for it, but you should be screened for it. Every single person that has ADHD should be screened for autism. In 2025, nobody's going to do that automatically. You got to advocate for yourself. You got to be on Instagram Reels. You got to be on Facebook Reels. You got to be on YouTube Shorts. You have to be on TikTok. You got to watch these videos. Somebody has to send you videos about neurodivergence so you can learn about it. That's just the cold hard truth. That's facts. That's facts. The line says, I would braid one small braid in my hair and just hold it in my mouth when I was in elementary school. Ah, yeah. And see how Leilani said that? If you braid one small braid in your hair and hold it in your mouth, like who's going to see that one small braid, right? Like you got this one small, who's going to see this one small braid? You feel me? Nobody's gonna catch a small braid. So you have to really be looking for it. Speaking of that, I took one side of my hair and I kind of twisted it out. I can kind of notice it. I can kind of notice it. Maybe my hair is getting long. Easy breezy cover boy, right? Look at my hair. Can exercise help behavior? Yes, exercise is, I mean, you say it's mandatory for anybody, but especially when you're neurodivergent, exercise is one of the things that we can do to help out with executive dysfunction. Because we have this bad habit of we want to use, like we want to outthink our problems. So if you're stuck on the couch, right, and you have a doctor's appointment in 2 hours and it's noon, you might be frozen there for hours thinking about what you should do now, what's your priority, like what do we have to do before the day ends. You cannot outthink your way out of a mental problem. You got to move your body. You got to move your body. So exercise is a great way to shake things up. And sometimes when I'm just frustrated and I don't know what to do, I just go to the gym. I just go to the gym. Just go to the gym, hop in the treadmill, lift a couple of weights, and all of a sudden I got the blood pumping through my body. I feel good. I can think. I can think. You gotta move the body. You gotta move the body. You gotta move the body. You gotta move the. Just Ani on YouTube says my superpower is sitting still. Hey, this is funny. My superpower is sitting still, though. That's funny. All right, let me answer this last question, and I gotta go. Dang it, I should have gone a little earlier. What do you think? What was this question? What do you do if you think you've been misdiagnosed on TikTok? Oh, great question. If you think you've been misdiagnosed, what you have to do is write down why you think you had the wrong diagnosis before you go into the doctor's office. You don't want to freestyle this. You don't want to freeball this and go on the fly, because when you get in front of the doctor, you're gonna forget like why. So write down why you think you have the wrong diagnosis. And a lot of times you could be right. And I think I'm really good at what I do, but sometimes I get the diagnosis wrong. So whenever I have a patient who, and I mean, this happened recently, where you have a patient who questions a diagnosis multiple times, I'm like, all right, okay, all right, cool. You can get a second opinion, but then I go back and I look through everything and I'm like, did I miss something? And a lot of times when a patient thinks that they've been misdiagnosed and I look through things, sometimes they're right and I'm wrong. And I'm not wrong often, but I mean, like you should listen to your patients. You know, that's a good way to be a great practitioner. And not every time that your patient thinks that they've been misdiagnosed, they're right. But at least just listen to them. Like you never know. Maybe you did get something wrong. Perhaps you got something wrong, you know? And in the event that you did get something wrong, you own up and say, "All right, you know what? Damn, shit, I got it wrong. I wasn't aware of this information right here." And there's a patient right now that I can that comes to my mind. Um, I got her diagnosis wrong, and she had it right. But at that time, I believed that she had what she had. But then, upon collecting further data, I was like, you know what? I think I'm wrong. Like I think she's right. I think she's right, right? And it's liberating to say that I messed up, because if you don't admit that you're wrong, sometimes you have to keep up this like facade that like you're always right, and then that's just too draining. It's like it's like trying to be smooth in social situations. Like you can't ever misstep. Like, I mean, look, we're gonna get things wrong a lot of the times, and that's what they call it, practice, because like you practice medically so you can get better. You gotta practice and you get better. That's how it works. Straight up. Straight up. Laurel Youngstrom. Yes, I am still in Juneau, Alaska. Oh yeah. You're right. I gotta go get my old lady some yogurt. Yeah. But yeah, I'm still in Juneau, Alaska. We have a comedy show next week, Friday, at the Alaskan Hotel and Bar. We have two shows. We got two shows. It's gonna be a doubleheader. We got a show at 6:30 p.m. and a show at 8:30 p.m. So if you're in Juneau, Alaska, please come out to the show. You're gonna have a great time. There's a lot of great comics here. I didn't know this was a comedy town, but I've had such a great time in this city. My old lady's from Alaska, so I got a reason to come back and visit. But I love Juneau, Alaska with all my heart. I really do love Alaska. So yeah, but I also am ready to get back to California and see the sun. I have not seen the sun in a while, so I'm excited to get back to California. And yeah. Oh, Laurel, if you are here in Juneau, Alaska on Friday, I have free tickets for you to come out to the show. Free tickets for you if you're here. If you're not here on Friday, that's fine. Maybe you're coming on the cruise or something like that. But I got free tickets for you for both shows. If you're coming on the cruise, you probably can't catch the 8:30 show. But yeah, let me know. Let me know. Let me know. And yes, I miss California as well. I'm not gonna lie, I miss California. Oh, I think I miss the sun. I miss the sun. I miss the sun. Kate CB on TikTok says, I enjoyed your live first time in. Okay, I appreciate you. If you're a first time viewer, subscriber, I appreciate you. I'll be back on here again tomorrow at 9 o'clock New York time, which is 8 o'clock Nashville time, 7 o'clock Arizona, 6 o'clock California time, 5 o'clock Hawaii and Alaska time. So tomorrow at 9 p.m., I will see y'all there. We met at the Kin. Nice to meet you again. Nice to meet you again. Yeah. I gotta get her some yogurt. I gotta follow through my word. All right, so let me go get this lady some yogurt. I love y'all, and I will see